Zoe, you had a viral video recently on TikTok where you were giving some dating advice. What was the title of the video?
The very first one?
Yeah, it was like dating advice that no one wants to hear. Or what was it?
Common sense dating advice that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear.
Right, okay. We were going to pull it up and watch it, but unfortunately we can't. So,
I hate hearing myself speak sometimes.
I don't know if you've committed it to memory, but what were the tips that you offered in that first video?
I think the very first one, if someone wants to pull it up, we can, just because like I've already made like 6 of them.
We can't. Just 'cause of our
So
setup.
I would say the very first one was, let's see, like don't complain about cheating if you're willing to stick around for it. You either shut up and move on and learn how to work through it, or leave. Damn, what the fuck? I'm trying to think of another.
Based.
What does that mean?
Base, it just means like good.
Okay, I'm new to the lingo. I'm like, what? But I think the one that pissed most people off is that I said men have it harder in life, especially financially. But I was talking about
Based.
dating. In dating, 100%, I feel like men. And yes, I know like my, what I compared it to, I was like, like men can't just sit here and bust their coochie open on OF for 10 grand a month. Was a little biased because it's literally my life, but yeah, I don't, you want to go into that? Of why I think
that men, well, first we will go into that. How about we go around the table? So who has it harder when it comes to dating, men or women? Go ahead.
I think it definitely does depend on the situation.
In general.
I think men.
Okay.
I think it depends on your standards. But
In general.
in general, men. I think it's a lot of pressure.
I think men 100%.
that's so funny that everyone's saying this now, because the girlies in the
Yeah.
comment were calling me pick Misha,
I think-
sprinkle,
Well,
sprinkle.
The
and I'm like,
dating, specific dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, specific to dating, man.
I feel like a lot of
That's
things in
interesting.
life men have it harder.
Yeah.
No,
we
not.
both
into the mic.
I think we both equally have it hard.
Men and women both. Well, I don't know if it's equally have it hard. I think women have certain difficulties that perhaps men don't have, but
course.
and men have difficulties that women don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think generally speaking, men have a definitely a harder time with dating. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I would say that men have a pretty rough time.
Mm-hmm.
If it like you have these guys in your comments asking if they're being overlooked because they're blue collar, and now it becomes this issue where, and you talk about this, and actually you do too, Brian, but a very small pool of men are the ones that get all of the attention, even though there are lots of good, hardworking men who would love to find somebody good and have a relationship, but because women are the gatekeepers of sex, they have to compete, and it's difficult, and it can be really discouraging and extremely lonely.
And that's why, like, after, it took me about a week to make a response video to all the girlies in my comments being like, pick me, pick me. Because I had to sit down with a few of my girlfriends just to make sure that, like, maybe my comment was a little, like, fucked up. Maybe I should, like, do some self-introspection, which is everything that I preach. And then I came down to it as I do feel like in society, especially when it comes to dating, we hold the power. We hold the yes or the no's, right? They don't really have much say anymore, which, I mean, that's just the way the world works around it right now. But I don't feel like we give men enough compassion for the hardships that they face. Like, we love men conditionally. I mean, in my relationship now, it's the first relationship I've actually practiced loving somebody unconditionally. So, like, when it comes to, like, money and when it comes to, like, dick size, all this kind of shit that we're so, like, I don't
They
love
have
you
to
unless you
perform.
have this. Yeah. What about us? And I feel like a lot of women take this and they're like, okay, cool, you want this out of a man. But I do not feel that the question, what do you bring to the table, is a bad question to ask. Because if all you can bring me is that you have a fat ass and you have a pretty face and you can good, that's gonna get the man, but like, how are you gonna keep him?
Yeah, what substance? do
That's
you
the
have?
reason why I don't care about the, oh, she's just a porn star and OnlyFans girl. No, I'm smart as shit. And half of the men that have gotten to know me can all say the same thing, like, holy shit, you smart as hell. Like, why are you doing porn? And I'm like, well, because I'm capitalizing off the market, okay? I'm using my looks to capitalize. But I feel like a lot of women that I meet, which is the reason why 90% of my friends are guys, and I know this is like feeding into more of the pick me thing, but no, I feel like men hold me accountable. I don't feel like a lot of women hold themselves accountable, and especially so we're like always preaching these standards. And I'll say the same thing for men. I don't do leftist. I don't do right. I'm literally, my shit is middle ground, because I feel like women preach these crazy standards that they can't even upkeep themselves. Men preach these crazy standards, and like, like the whole men want a traditional wife, but they're not traditional men. 100%. But I feel like women are taken, like when a man says, oh, I don't want a girl with a high body count, we're like, that man's trash, he's shit. No, that's just his fucking preference. But then I feel like when women say, like, oh, you know, I want a man to make this amount of money, it's not coming from a place of like, she knows who she is. She's coming from a place of like, what society is sort of what they should want in men, and men are just precious.
Hold on, just-
I feel like something in that
Thank you,
same
Victor.
vein, in that same vein, it's like it's never our fault when things go wrong, and that's something that I see a lot when women talk about different aspects of life. It's never if you pick shitty guys, it's never your fault. If you go into too much student debt, it's never your fault, right? If you don't negotiate well when you're trying to get a job, it's never your fault, and that really hurts women because it doesn't actually empower us to take any sort of agency over our own lives and actually make decisions and be responsible for our own actions. But men have to do that because if they do not, they are not attractive partners. And that's really an unfair standard that our society has, particularly in the US. I think that that's a real problem.